Hi and welcome to a new episode on my channel. Today I'm gonna talk about the modifications I did or I'm still gonna do on my DP race boat, my Rocket 26 from Joysway. And I'm gonna also show you some footage of the first run of the boat just to check if everything works before I start to paint this boat. Before I started with the modifications, I first removed all the original stickers. In my opinion, it even looks better without any stickers than with these cheap original stickers on the boat. It looks white and clean, pretty nice, but the paint job will come and that hopefully will look even way better. So the target on this project is that to make this boat look as awesome as possible, as scale as possible. So the most of the modifications happened outside of the hull. Let's have a look at the rear first. We have two holes on the top, what I have closed just because I don't need this. This hole was for the RC antenna, and the second hole was the original inlet for the water cooling system. And what I wanted to reach is that I have the top of the hull completely clean. No cables looking out, no antenna, no tubes, nothing. And that's the reason why I closed these two holes. I did the solution for the RC antenna just to fix it inside the hull. I also already did some range checks. It's no problem about the range. You have at least 100 or even greater distance to go without any range issues. And the second hole, this one here, I just closed and use now the hole which is made for the water release system, which is originally in this place here. And this is also a thing I don't need because after the test run I checked the water and there was almost no water after 2 packs in this boat, so there is no need for this water releasing system to release the water out of the hull. So I decided to close this hole to go with the water inlet in this place here into the hull, and like this I have a clean top side of the hull. My solution to close these two holes on the hull is pretty simple. I just took 2 small pieces of ABS plastic, glued them inside the hull with some CA glue. I marked the center of this plastic part so I exactly knew where to position in the plastic parts to have them really centered underneath the holes. Both sides the same solution, and then I took some 10-minute epoxy just to fill up the 2 holes on the hull. And that's all. Then I have to grind it and paint it, and then you won't see these holes anymore. Another small modification happened on the canopy part of the hull. At the back you can see this little hole. This is an original hole in the canopy part of the hull. And the problem is that if your boat flips on the back side like this, there goes water into the hull and it's almost impossible to get the water out of the canopy. The canopy is double layer, so you have a bottom side, a top side, and there can be water between these 2 pieces. So what I did is I closed this hole too with some epoxy, and I opened these 2 holes just to release the water out of the canopy part of the hull. To close this little hole I also used some epoxy, just put it on some tape, some epoxy, put the tape over the hole and put the canopy there like this, let it dry, and then you have a clean closed hole. Let's have a look at the water cooling outlet. The original part was much bigger than it's now. I reduced the size of it to make it look a bit better, but I don't like the hex shape of this outlet, so I ordered another outlet which has a round shape, which has an inside hex, which is much easier to handle and which looks also way better. And then for the self-righting system, as you can see, I took off the air outlet, which compensates the pressure which goes into the tank if the tank fills up with water. So I took off this part, which is originally built in, and as you can see, this is a strange construction because it's almost no more diameter on the outside than the winding, and it also doesn't look that nice. It's also a hex shape, and I also decided to change this to a round shaped air outlet, and which also fits better on the hull, which is a bigger diameter than this small hex, which has almost the same diameter like the windings behind. And like this, the risk to pull it into the hull is too big in my opinion. And these parts are also not sealed. There is no O-ring for the water outlet, and also for the self-righting system air outlet, no seals, so the hull is even not really sealed well with this solution. So this is what I'm gonna change to. The most exciting part of the modifications you can see here. One is the prop I changed. The original prop is a black nylon with fiberglass reinforced plastic prop that works okay, but it doesn't look that good. And I decided to go with this 7075 aluminum CNC made prop, which looks way better than the original prop, and it also performs a little bit better. And the rudder is also made of aluminium. It was anodized in dark gray, almost black color, and I decided to grind it down to remove all the anodized material, because I think it simply looks better if you can see the color of the aluminum. And so I decided to grind it down. That was a bit of work, but I think the result looks pretty okay. Then I figured out that the rear end ball bearing on the strut has some play into the strut itself. So when you moved the propeller, the whole bearing was moving in the strut. And what I did, I just took some very thin self-adhesive foil, wrapped it around the bearing, and like this it fits now without any play. And if you move the propeller now, it sits pretty stiff. There's only the play inside the bearing, but the bearing doesn't move anymore in the strut. This also helps to seal the strut a bit better to pull water into the hull. Last but not least, I cleaned up the inside a bit. That means I just reduced the tube sizes to the length I really need. The tubes were a bit too long, some of them, and I fixed the ESC better. The ESC is originally only fixed with this zip tie, and I added some self-adhesive double-sided tape and put it back on and zip tied it with a new zip tie, so it's really well fixed now in its position. I also used some zip ties to fix the motor cables a little bit better, because they were pretty loose and it was possible that they touched the outrunner motor, and that's not okay. So that's what I changed on the inside. And I used the original balloon, which is included in the kit, just to avoid incoming water getting into the RC receiver. I also used a zip tie at the end to make it as well sealed as possible. And then I also changed the Dean's plug to my 4mm bullet gold plugs, which I use on all of my models. So this is all about my mods on the boat so far. Now let's jump right into the footage of the first run, of the test run. And thanks for watching, and as always, happy flying, happy driving, bye bye.
Yeah.